Hi everybody, and welcome back to Dad Knows. Today we have a very special guest. We're going to be talking to the first president of the United States. We call him Jorge Grande in my house. You may know him as George Washington. So here he is. Welcome in, George!
John Hanson! That's
John
right.
Hanson.
The first president of the Guard of
Security.
Confederation.
It's Hanson.
Best
He got
president.
in again.
Not
You come get him? Jeez.
No.
All right. So
You
yeah.
can't
So
do this.
yes, John Hanson was one of the first presidents under the Articles of Confederation, which happened, 1781. There's actually a couple of other guys too that can claim that same title. But anyway, he comes in here and does this periodically. We just have to deal with it. We're going to take this opportunity to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with George Washington, the first president of the United States. Thank you so much. Need to wipe out a large percentage of the population fast? Smallpox has you covered. That's right. Since the dawn of recorded history, smallpox has been killing 1 out of 3 infected people. Fever, weakness, fatigue, and rash are all symptoms of smallpox. Smallpox can wipe you out quick. Smallpox. Hi, welcome back to Dad Knows. Now we have the actual George Washington here, the actual first president. John Hanson was here earlier claiming to be, I know, he comes here, he does it all the time. We're trying to deal with it, but it's just what it is. Anyway, thank you for being here with us. Thank you so much. So, anyway, you want to go and get started on the interview?
What is this with the pirate ship? I'm staring at it.
Oh, it's just part of our thing. Never mind the pirate ship. So, anyway, okay, so, George Washington, there's so much about you that we could talk about. We could probably do multiple episodes, so we'll try to keep it, just hit some of the highlights today. We'll come back later and do some more in-depth, if you have time, sir, to come back and do some stuff with us. But all right, so let's start. Just highlights. You were born in where?
Virginia.
Born in Virginia. All right, in 1732, I think. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So early life. What did you do? You grew up in the
surveyor to scout land and map it.
Okay. So out walking around the wilderness, surveying the land. Then later on, got married. Yeah. To who? Who was your wife?
Martha.
Martha Washington. Right. Okay, anyway, and you were, what else did you do? Oh, a soldier. You were a soldier in fighting for the British in the French and Indian Wars, right? All right, how'd that go? Everything work out well for you?
No, I kind of started the war.
Oh, yeah, you may have been involved in starting the war. That's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that later. So you did all that. That was kind of qualifying you to be one of the leaders of the Continental Army when they were setting up the Continental Army to get started. Okay. So all right. So then you became the leader of the Continental Army in 1775, July 1775. Let's talk about your string of awesome victories. Let me take a look here. Let's see what we got. Huge victories from George Washington. Okay, August 27, 17, Battle of Long Island. No, that was a loss. Battle of Brandywine, also a loss. New York, that's a loss. Oh, hey, Boston! Boston campaign. Boston campaign's a win. You got the British out of Boston, and you kept Boston was free for the rest of the war. What else?
Some cannons.
And you got some cannons, right? Henry Knox, Fort Ticonderoga, all that stuff. Awesome. All right, Trenton, New Jersey, December 26, 1776. Was that the whole Delaware crossing the boat, Delaware thing? Awesome.
My legs kind of fell asleep, so I did the entire time.
You had that pose the whole time. Was that awesome? Was there somebody in another boat rolling along beside you painting frantically? Because we have that preserved in some of our museums now. We do. Okay. So they must have just done it from memory. That's cool. And then also the Yorktown, Siege of Yorktown, 1781. Cornwallis surrenders. We win the war. Woohoo! All right. So biggest things about it, like I said, some losses, also some victories. But you did what? You held the army together?
Yeah, I held the army together. I was also a believer in doing inoculations, like a weaker version of sickness. I did all my troops for smallpox. So
Really?
It wasn't widespread.
Yeah, so you were an early adopter of that. That was kind of a new thing at the time, and smallpox would just wipe out armies, right? Everybody get sick. So you did that with your army, kept Boston free, and you held us together long enough for the French to come help us. Again, the French did help us out. We're going to pay them back big time later. We'll get to that. All right, so after the war, what'd you do?
I went back to Mount Vernon, kind of chilled out, or whatever I want.
Oh, okay. You didn't want to be just You didn't want to be just the general in charge of everything. You were like, I'm going to go back to my farm. Okay, cool. That's cool. I respect that about you. Then, things weren't working all that great under the Articles of Confederation. That's not all Hanson's fault. He's just one of the guys. Anyway, he was working with the system he had. Okay, so he did that, but they felt like things weren't working well, so they wanted to have a constitutional convention in 1787, and you were selected to go from Virginia?
Yes, but I didn't really want to.
You didn't really want to go? Why not?
Because they always just elect me as random things.
And you didn't really feel like it was maybe a legitimate thing, like it was going to work? Yeah, okay, so, but you went anyway, and then right after you got there, what happened?
They elected me as president of the convention.
They made you president of the convention. Why'd they make you didn't want to go. Why'd they make you
Because
president?
I'm George Washington. I led the Revolutionary War.
You are George
They
Washington.
shoved me.
That's correct. That's right. So, okay, so anyway, y'all hammered out the convention, hammered out the Constitution, and then you took over and became you were elected to be the first president of the United States, correct? Sworn in on April 30th, 1789 in Washington, D.C. and went to the White House, right?
Where's Washington, D.C.? It's like New York. New York.
Oh, New York was the capital. That's right. So New York was the capital while you were there. Okay, so you did that. So did a lot of things while you were president. What were some of the main things that you did?
Well, I had to set everything up, like money, ships, navy, army.
Government systems and all that stuff. Yeah, we didn't have any of that. It was like starting from scratch, right? It's like a giant Lego box with a bunch of pieces in it. Yeah? You didn't even know what Legos are. Anyway, all right, so it's all right, George. Can I call you George?
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so what was another major thing? You didn't want to get involved with stuff?
Yeah, I didn't want to get involved in a European war. They seem to try to get us to do.
Right, so we wanted to avoid foreign entanglements. So what was one of the hardest things that you had to deal with?
Well, keeping all the other guys from fighting, like Jefferson, Hamilton, and Adams, they all
Yeah.
kind of bickered.
And we're all fighting all the time, right? So anyway, that must have been tough. Well, hey, thank you for coming here. We'll have you back another time, I promise. Folks, what I want to do is I want to read to you real quick just to wrap up this up. You can stay for this because you're going to like this. This is some good stuff about you. So historian Ron Chernoff said about George Washington, at the end of his presidency, he had restored American credit and assumed state debt, created a bank, a mint, a coast guard, a customs service, and a diplomatic corps, introduced the first accounting, tax, and budgetary procedures, maintained peace at home and abroad, inaugurated a navy, bolstered the army, and shored up coastal defenses and infrastructure, proved that the country could regulate commerce and negotiate binding treaties, protected frontier settlers, subdued Indian uprisings, and established law and order amid rebellion, scrupulously adhering all the while to the letter of the Constitution. Most of all, he had shown a disbelieving world that Republican government could prosper without being spineless or disorderly or reverting to authoritarian rule. Jorge Grande indeed. Thank you so much for watching Dad Knows. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe it. Subscribe to it so you don't miss any awesome content later on. As always, thank you so much for coming.